And so then since
Yeah.
then, you've gone on and had a lot of success with sync licensing and music licensing for TV and video games and so on. So how did you go about doing that? Like how you were able to break into that, and how might someone who's just starting out, how might what path can they go on
Yeah,
to be able to do
absolutely.
the same thing?
So let's see. I started doing sync licensing, I think, as early as 2006, maybe 2007. Of course, back in those days, it was sort of like the way I was doing it. I would approach businesses and say, "Hey, I can put together some type of jingle for you that you can eventually broadcast on radio." And the internet wasn't that big of a deal back in 2006, 2007. It wasn't quite the same internet that we've come to know as, the one of today. And so I just started that way. Eventually, the sort of web opened up, and a lot more platforms were, accepting music. So I'd submit my music, and then slowly but surely, I got a few sales, and then I started to write more music, and I grew my catalog. Eventually, expanded my portfolio to include other genres. Of course, I wasn't doing synthwave music back then. I was doing house music. That was my niche. House music, so some jazz, but mainly house music. A lot of neo soul, hip hop tracks, and started to appear in a few productions, TV shows, some radio commercials, some infomercials, and so I've been doing that for about 15 years now, 15 or
Hmm.
16 years. I think total I've maybe sold 15 or 16,000 licenses to date.
Wow.
And yeah, I think I was just lucky. I was just at the right place at the right time. I got into it really early. I also paid attention to a lot of the trends that sort of followed in the advertising space. And I currently work with about 15 or 16 students on a regular basis. We do one-on-one Zoom calls. I assess their portfolio. I help them get, put a comprehensive portfolio together, and hopefully, some of them have, gone on to have their music in a number of different productions. I know one guy I was working with, he had one of his songs placed on a radio spot. And so he's really excited about that. And another student had one of their tracks placed in, I think it was a video game or maybe an app, as the
Hmm.
background music. So, I'm trying to sort of give back and show others to how to get into that industry. I will be coming out with a course, a music
Ah,
licensing course for those
nice.
of you interested in this. So if you want to, be sure to check out my my page, my YouTube, and my website, and I'll make an announcement.
Definitely. So then let's let's say you have someone and they're just wondering what are the steps to getting sync, getting licensed. They have no idea. Do they need to join some program, or I've heard other people say, just like find the people that are responsible for collecting the music and personally reach out to them, find their email or something. So what would you recommend? What's the best way, just like one, two, three best
Well,
steps to follow?
right. The first thing in a nutshell, I'd say write the best music you can. Pick a genre or a niche that you're comfortable with, a genre that you know that you can write a great sounding soundtrack. And from there, expand that catalog, reach out to a number of publishers, reach out to a number of music supervisors. I do work with a few music supervisors and publishers,
Real
but
quick,
I think, yeah,
how do you find those people? Do you just Google them, try
you
to
can
find their
run
email?
searches online. I think there are a number of publishers that you can find online, but they don't like to be sort of solicited that way. So I I sort of work with a handful, and sometimes when a student of mine has a really great soundtrack, a really serious work ethic, I'll say, hey, maybe you can pay attention to so and so. He has some really great soundtracks, or she's doing some really cool things that maybe you can find an opportunity to place her music anywhere that you may see fit. And I've done that for a few students, but I'd ultimately say work hard, come up with a niche that you're comfortable in, and build yourself a catalog. Write 10, maybe 15 songs in that niche. If you can write in other genres just as well, you might want to pursue that. You have other opportunities to engage in sync licensing deals. the more tracks that you produce in various genres, the better. And so those are the sort of bits of advice I would give to students. Of course, the course will deep dive into this and show you how to write a number of songs in different genres you may not be familiar with, as well as how to write catchy hooks, because music supervisors are always looking for songs that sort of like hit right away, and so that engage the audience, that all that stuff.
Awesome. So is there like a certain approach that's different for writing songs for sync licensing than if you're trying to just be an artist and grow a fan base? I've heard like it's better to have more space between your vocals so that if there's any dialogue in the TV show or something, I don't know, is there any just quick tips on how to write differently for sync?
Yeah, I think personally the mix is, I think what works in some contexts is to pay attention to the mix. If I'm writing a song for where the destination is for TV, or maybe a YouTube video, or maybe an infomercial, I'll try to make sure the instruments are panned in a certain way that allows the dialogue to come forward. The dialogue is usually mono, so I won't put too many instruments in the center, maybe the drums or something like that. So I'll pay attention to the mix. And I think the most important thing is to get to the point, So when you're writing that kind of music, you don't want to have these long extended intros. You want to get to the point within a few seconds so we know what the song is about. We kind of get the gist of the song. If it's a high energy song, you want to get to the sort of climax of the song immediately. So there's definitely a different way of writing depending on what the destination is.
Okay. And then is there much demand for synthwave and sync, or is it more so other genres?
Good question. As for synthwave, you can thank Stranger Things for sort of like pushing it forward, and that made a huge difference. I think that was released in what 2016 or something, or 2015, yeah, something like that. And I noticed that it sort of like made it uber popular, and so now it's sort of like you hear it all over the mainstream. You hear it in different productions. You hear it in TV commercials. You hear it in radio commercials, even video games. So definitely, there's a lot of opportunity for synthwave in the music licensing game.
Are you tired of posting on social media over and over, but not actually seeing any results, not actually gaining any new fans, not actually making an income from your music? If so, then be sure to grab my free fan funnel formula guide in the description below, or go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/fan. And this will walk you through step-by-step a proven system for generating followers and then on autopilot, turning those followers into fans and actual customers. In this free guide, you'll discover the only 4 things you need to start generating automated income from your fans. You'll also learn how to start building an email list full of dedicated fans ready to do whatever you tell them, whether that be to stream a song or buy a t-shirt from your store. And most importantly, you'll also learn a little known secret to actually earning an income from your music without touring or selling your soul. Again, this is all inside of a free guide in the description below, or you can go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/fan to grab your free copy of this guide. And if you're looking for more tips and tricks on growing a fan base online for your music, then go ahead and click the video on the screen right now. With that, have an awesome day, keep creating, and I'll see you in a future video.